Fisherman recorded a megalodon near a remote island in the Pacific Ocean, but what happened later was shocking. John Green was a 60-year-old fisherman. He had spent most of his life on the ocean, waking up before sunrise and setting out to catch fish. He loved the sea more than anything. It was quiet, deep, and full of secrets. Over the years, John became known in his small town for something special. He loved recording big creatures. While most fishermen were happy with catching fish or spotting dolphins, John always searched for something bigger. Whales were his favorite. He had recorded dozens of them. Some people even said he could talk to them. Of course, that wasn't true, but it showed how much people respected his love for the sea. John's boat was small and old. It had served him well for many years, but it could not go far from the shore. That always made John a little sad. He believed that real secrets were hidden deep in the ocean, far away from land, where people didn't go often. 2 months ago, something changed. John retired. He didn't want to sit at home doing nothing, so he made a big decision. He used all his savings and even took a loan to buy a big ship, a real ship, one with space, equipment, and power to go deep into the Pacific Ocean. But he knew he couldn't do it alone. So he signed a contract with a group of workers who agreed to become his crew. They weren't professional fishermen, but they had skills. Some knew how to handle engines, others could cook or help with navigation. John's plan was clear: spend 3 months in the Pacific Ocean and record whatever he could find. He hoped to see whales, sharks, maybe something new, something the world hadn't seen before. On February 3rd, they left the shore. The sky was clear, the water was calm, and the crew was excited. The first few days were smooth. They traveled far away from land. John looked at the deep blue water and smiled. He felt alive again. But after the first week, the crew started getting bored. There was nothing unusual. No whales, no strange sounds, no giant creatures. Just water and more water. By the 3rd week, the crew was tired and angry. They came to John and started complaining. "We're wasting time," one of them said. "There's nothing out here," said another. John tried to keep them calm. "We didn't come here to find something in just a week," John told them. "This ocean is big. The deeper we go, the more chance we have. Just give it time." He kept telling them stories about sea monsters, deep-sea creatures, and old legends. Some listened, some laughed. But John stayed hopeful. Then, on the night of March 5th, something terrible happened. A storm hit. Not a normal storm. This one was strong, fast, and violent. The waves grew high like buildings. Rain fell like knives. The wind screamed louder than anything John had ever heard. The ship shook, twisted, and crashed into the waves. John and his crew did everything they could to save it. They tried to pull the sails down. They tied ropes to keep things from flying. They turned the engines and tried to keep the ship straight. But it wasn't enough. The ship cracked. With a loud sound, it broke apart. Water poured in. People screamed. Lights went out. Then the sea swallowed the ship. John hit his head and blacked out. The next morning, John opened his eyes. He expected water, sand, or rocks. But instead, he saw a white ceiling. He sat up quickly. He was in a clean metal room. The walls were smooth, the bed soft, and the air smelled strange, like a hospital. He touched his head. There was a small bandage. He remembered the storm, the crashing waves, the screams, the cold water. "Where am I?" he shouted. A few moments later, a door opened. A man in a white coat walked in. He looked calm, clean, and serious. "Good morning, Mr. Green," he said. "I'm Barrick. I'm the head of this facility." John blinked. "Facility? What facility?" "You were found floating in the water, unconscious. Our team picked you up during a patrol." "Where's my crew?" "We only found you," Barrick said. "No other bodies, no other signs." John felt cold inside. He didn't know if they were dead or alive, but something else was bothering him. This place doesn't look like a hospital. That's because it's not, Barrick said. He walked over to a screen and pressed a button. The wall turned into a big window showing a hallway full of machines and scientists. People were walking fast, talking, and working with strange tools. This is a secret research facility, Barrick said. It's hidden under the Pacific Ocean. It's part of a classified project. John frowned. Why am I here? Barrick looked serious. Because now you know it exists. And once you know, you can't leave. John stood up. That's crazy. I didn't ask to come here. I understand, Barrick said. But you were found too close to one of our test zones. And since you've seen this place, you are part of it now. For your safety and ours, we must keep you here. John was angry, but he stayed calm. What kind of project are you running here? Barrick paused for a moment, then spoke. Our mission is to study and, in some cases, create large creatures, beasts from ancient times, Megalodon, T-Rex, King Kong, creatures that once ruled the earth. John laughed nervously. You're joking. Barrick shook his head. We're not. The world is changing fast. In case of a large-scale war or global disaster, we want to be ready. These creatures can be used for defense or offense, depending on the situation. John's face went pale. You're building monsters? We prefer the term biological giants, Barrick said. But yes. John was shocked. That's dangerous. What if they escape? We have full control. Everything is monitored, and you'll see for yourself. Barrick took John on a walk through the facility. They passed rooms with high-tech equipment, large screens, and tanks full of strange liquids. Scientists nodded as they passed by. Then they reached a special hallway with strong glass windows. This is the observation area, Barrick said. They entered a room with a large glass wall that showed the deep ocean outside. It was beautiful and quiet. Fish swam past the glass. Lights on the outside of the facility showed parts of the sea floor. Then something moved in the dark. At first, John thought it was a shadow, but it got closer, bigger, stronger. A massive creature appeared from the dark water. Its body was longer than a bus. Its mouth was full of huge teeth. Its eyes were black and cold. It was a megalodon. John stepped back. That can't be real. It is, Barrick said. One of our greatest creations. Found in an ancient egg deep in the ocean floor. We brought it here and helped it grow. The creature swam slowly past the window. It turned its head slightly, as if it noticed them. John felt a chill run through his spine. You've been keeping it in a cage? Yes, a very large one, with pressure, electric fields, and guards. John shook his head. What if it gets out? It won't, Barrick said. This place is designed to hold much more than just one megalodon. That night, John couldn't sleep. He sat in his room thinking about everything. The storm, the lost ship, his crew, this secret lab under the sea, and the monster swimming just outside. He had always dreamed of finding something big in the ocean, but he never thought he would end up here. Over the next few weeks, John lived inside the facility. He wasn't locked up, but he couldn't leave either. They gave him books, food, and access to walk around. He met a few scientists, most of them polite but distant. Barrick visited him often. He tried to explain that their project was for the future of humanity. He believed that the world needed something powerful to face the unknown. But John didn't agree. He had seen what nature could do, and he believed that some things should stay buried. One night, while walking near the observation window again, he saw something strange. The megalodon was acting wild. It was hitting the glass, turning fast, swimming in circles. Sirens went off. Lights turned red. Barrick rushed in. What's going on? John asked. We're losing control, Barrick said. Something triggered the beast. The lights flickered. A loud crash shook the building. The glass window cracked slightly. Water began to drip in. "Seal the area!" Barrick shouted. John backed away as more alarms screamed. The Megalodon was pushing harder against the glass. It was angry, hungry, maybe scared. Barrick and the team rushed to control it. They turned on electric fields, released calming gas, but nothing worked. With a final crash, the Megalodon broke through part of the wall. Water rushed in, people screamed, the lights died. John ran. He moved through dark halls, water rising behind him. He saw people trying to escape, others getting pulled into the flood. It was chaos. He found an emergency pod, a small escape unit built for one. Without thinking, he jumped in and hit the button. The pod launched upward. He felt pressure, then silence. Hours later, John woke up on a beach. The pod was open beside him. The sun was rising. He looked around and saw no one else. He didn't know how far he was from the facility. He didn't know if anyone else had escaped. But he knew one thing: the Megalodon was free, and the world had no idea. John walked to the road, planning to find help. He knew the government might come after him, but he also knew the truth had to be told. He had spent his whole life looking for something big, and now he had found it. The only question was, what would it do next?